are so stupid the way that they handle Trump.
What do you mean?
You should shut up. He's a narcissist.
Everyone seems to be taking shots at Jimmy Kimmel on his own show, and it's downright hilarious. At this point, you almost wonder if he even has real friends in the industry, since even his closest pals keep throwing him under the bus. But honestly, he deserves it after all. As the poster child for woke culture, it's pure comedy gold when his own friends call him out right on his stage, with Bill Burr being one of the boldest to do so in this clip.
Sociopaths, all of this type of stuff. Like, you want to see a great case thing on, like, narcissism. Liberals are so stupid the way that they handle Trump.
What do you mean?
You should shut up. He's a narcissist. Neutral energy.
Yeah.
Neutral.
You think he'd go away?
You know what I think he was? I think he was a one-hit wonder. Right? He wrote The Twist. And then that was it. He was on the casino circuit, and then you idiot liberals wrote him Twist again when you indicted him. And now he's a martyr. And now he's coming back, Jimmy.
The peppermint twist is back.
Burr is some secret Trump supporter or closet conservative. He, a leftist through and doesn't try to hide it, but sometimes even those firmly planted on the left stumble onto a hard truth. And Burr pointed out what many refuse to admit. It was liberals who made Trump larger than life. Their relentless obsession with trying to bury him backfired, and in their quest to stop him from running again, they rolled out a laundry list of criminal charges, desperately hoping one would stick and derail his campaign. None of it worked. Instead, every indictment, headline, and scandal only amplified his presence, ironically giving him more airtime and visibility than Kamala Harris and turning him into a political juggernaut they couldn't silence, no matter how hard they tried.
Like, these are honestly going to be our two choices, because I really try to, with each thing, to try to be like, figure out who I'm going to put. I mean, there's got to be, I want somebody in their 40s, somebody that's going to have to live with their decisions. I don't want, like, with any luck, they'll both die of natural causes before the election. And maybe you could get somebody that still has something to live for.
This should have been a straightforward choice for Burr, given that he's clearly a left-leaning comedian, but it wasn't that simple. When pressed, he couldn't neatly fall in line and pick between Trump and Harris because deep down he carried his own frustrations. With the DNC political landscape, sure, he framed his comments to sound like he was merely pointing out that both candidates are old, a not-so-subtle jab at Biden himself, but the undertone went much deeper, revealing his exhaustion with the Biden administration's relentless embrace of woke policies. Like many others, Burr didn't want to face another 4 years of philosophies that seemed to defy tradition, common sense, nature, and even basic logic. And his jab wasn't just comedy. It was a reflection of a broader cultural fatigue that's becoming harder to.
Burr is here. He means no harm.
How long you been wearing suits? You're supposed to unbutton the coat when you sit down.
No, that's not true.
Bugging me the whole time.
All right, I'll unbutton everything. More with Bill Burr after this one.
Jimmy Kimmel was clearly squirming in his chair as Burr dropped truth bombs that sliced right through the Hollywood bubble. And you could almost see the panic in his eyes as he fidgeted with his suit jacket, desperate to cut to a commercial break. Kimmel had invited Burr, expecting him to join the safe chorus of Trump haters that fuels his predictable late-night script. But what he didn't anticipate was Burr flipping the script and throwing those punches right back at him. Burr's blunt, no-nonsense commentary didn't just deviate from the narrative, it dismantled it, leaving Kimmel visibly rattled. He brought Burr on as an ally, but instead got a comedian unafraid to mock the very system Kimmel benefits from. And in doing so, Burr turned the spotlight around, trapping Kimmel in the very discomfort he thought he
saw. The dismissal of a very well-known chat show host in America last night, Mr. Kimmel. Is free speech more under attack in Britain or America?
Well, Jimmy Kimmel was fired because he had bad ratings more than anything else, and he said a horrible thing about a great gentleman known as Charlie Kirk. And Jimmy Kimmel is not a talented person. He had very bad ratings, and they should have fired him a long time ago. So, you can call that free speech or not. He was fired for lack of talent.
Kimmel got the boot from ABC, and much like Stephen Colbert's situation, the writing on the wall was obvious. His ratings were in freefall. Television is, at its core, a business, and when a show bleeds millions year after year, no amount of political loyalty or celebrity status can save it. While many critics frame Kimmel's downfall as the result of his endless cheap shots at MAGA supporters or yet another jab at Trump, the reality is that controversy only carries a show so far. If the audience isn't tuning in, advertisers pull back and networks start crunching numbers. Kimmel had stopped being a ratings magnet and had become a liability. leaving ABC with only one logical choice: cut their losses. In the end, it wasn't Trump jokes that sank him, it was the numbers. And
About cancel culture, the current administration has taken it to a new and dangerous level by routinely threatening regulatory action against media companies unless they muzzle or fire reporters and commentators that it doesn't like. He went on to say this is precisely the kind of government coercion that the First Amendment was designed to prevent, and media companies need to start standing up rather than capitulating.
One since when did Barack Obama suddenly become a critic of cancel culture? This is the same man who stood silently at the height of the cancel era, when comedians, celebrities, politicians, and even everyday Americans were being destroyed for stepping out of line with the fringe left's agenda. Back then, Obama said nothing. He didn't call out the mob, didn't warn against the dangers of silencing dissent, and certainly didn't scold the government, because his party was comfortably in power. That selective silence spoke volumes. But now, with the political winds shifting and the shoe on the other foot, suddenly Obama finds his voice, acting as if cancel culture wasn't weaponized under his watch. It's a convenient awakening, but also a transparent one. He's only against cancel culture now because it no longer serves his side.
Bigger than Mickey Mouse, and ABC affiliates are refusing to air his show. They're on the brink of an advertiser boycott, and this guy's not even in first place. And he says, let's go another round. So the boss said, take a breather, Jimmy. You're costing us a fortune and making us look like we don't have a
point. Audiences were already worn out from Jimmy Kimmel's recycled hot takes on night after night. He hammered Donald Trump and his supporters, turning what was once comedy into a predictable string of partisan jabs that alienated half the country. Late-night entertainment gave way to political preaching, and viewers tuned out in droves. But his latest comments pushed things beyond the usual boundaries. It wasn't just another Trump joke or MAGA punchline. It was a moment where Kimmel crossed into territory that couldn't simply be brushed aside. Even those who once defended him struggled to justify his words, as the line between edgy comedy and reckless commentary was obliterated. This time, there was no coming back. Kimmel had finally gone.
It's not about free speech. This is about the free market. On free speech, Jimmy Kimmel isn't losing his ability to speak out and say whatever the heck he wants. He could run the Substack just like his friends Don Lemon, Jim Acosta, Joy Reid, Chuck Todd, and say whatever's on his mind there. The difference is he's not going to get paid $15-16 million a year from Disney and ABC to do it. I mean, here's the thing. This was a last straw moment for Disney, ABC, the affiliates Nexstar, and Sinclair.
I have to agree with Concha. On this one, Jimmy Kimmel simply wasn't delivering enough return on the massive investment ABC had made in him. Like many of his late-night peers, he went all-in on politics, turning comedy into a nightly sermon against Trump and the MAGA crowd. The problem is, once you openly alienate millions of Americans, you permanently cut yourself off from a huge potential audience. And those viewers aren't coming back no matter how many jokes you crack. What remains is the same shrinking pool of like-minded viewers that every other politically charged comedian is already competing for, slicing an already small pie thinner and thinner. With too many voices chasing the same dwindling base, ratings were bound to collapse, and Kimmel's decline wasn't bad. Luck, it was the predictable consequence of burning bridges and narrowing his audience.
Screaming about the First Amendment and free speech is driving me crazy. People seem to think that the First Amendment allows every individual to say whatever they want, wherever they want, whenever they want. That's not what the First Amendment does. What the First Amendment does is provides that Congress can make no law to prohibit you from speaking. It does not say that you can't get fired for saying some stupid stuff. Right? It does not say that. And so Jimmy Kimmel, as you've said, has not been silenced. This is not.
This lady completely dismantles Trump's critics and exposes how shallow their arguments really are, especially when it comes to the First Amendment, which to many people toss around without understanding what it actually protects. The First Amendment restricts government limits on speech. It has nothing to do with what private employers demand from their employees. If a network, sponsor, or employer decides someone's words or behavior are damaging to the brand, they're well within their rights to act. That's not censorship, that's business. In Jimmy Kimmel's case, hiding behind the First Amendment is not only weak but irrelevant. He wasn't silenced by the government, he was held accountable by the very industry that once elevated him. The reality is simple. If you can't deliver ratings, revenue, or respect, the network has every right to cut ties. Kimmel's downfall wasn't about one bad joke, one political jab, or even one scandal. It was the culmination of years spent alienating half the country, leaning too heavily on woke politics, and delivering fewer laughs with each passing season. Critics can spin it however they want. But the truth is, Kimmel stopped being entertaining and profitable. And networks don't care about loyalty. They care about ratings and revenue. Once those dried up, so did his safety net. Whether it was Bill Burr exposing him, critics tearing him apart, or audiences tuning out, the message is the same. Kimmel's time has passed, Hollywood has already moved on, and a comeback looks unlikely. And that wraps up today's video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.